He is here to help you understand the why behind the what. This is your RX for Forex. So it brings me great pleasure to turn this call over to none other than Dr. Craig Bythewood. Dr. Bythewood, are you on the call?
Yes, I am, Ms. Dyer. Thank you very much for your introduction. Once again, that was an excellent training call. Thank you, Mr. Joel Jolie, for your contributions this evening to help us take it to the next level and understand a little bit better how all of these situations fit together. So I think that we should pause for a second and just give thanks, just be thankful. You know, appreciation is an energy. And one of the things that I teach life coaching clients and daughters is that it's impossible to be appreciative and defensive at the same time. Try it. It's impossible. They're two opposite energies. And so the moment that you decide to thank, to appreciate, to feel good about all the things you have going on in your life, there's no room for any other energy to be in there. So I just think that we should pause for a second, because if we just hit the pause button and think about the last 2 weeks and think about how we have grown so much as a family, how we've grown so much as a unit, how there's so many individuals right now who are doing things that you were not doing 2 weeks ago. So I am an assistant basketball coach for a high school basketball team, and my head coach is young, just turned 30 years old, and he just had a baby in June. So I asked him earlier today, so how is your son? And he said, it's just amazing to me how fast he's growing. So we went over there, my daughters and I, to see the baby today. He just kept saying it. I'm just amazed at how quickly he has grown. And that really reminds me of this group. It really reminds me of this unit. It really reminds me of this movement, this be your own bank movement, this collective consciousness. When the leaders of this organization or this sub-organization decided to do live calls, it was slightly risky. We're not exactly sure what the reaction would be. But what I've seen, what I've observed, and what I've noticed is that literally there's been a wind beneath all of our wings that has allowed us to work together and literally become a force to be reckoned with. There's so many ways in which we could analyze my point. Here's one way. Just look at the energy of the chats. Just look at how many individuals are typing exclamation points. Just think about how many individuals are typing testimonies when it used to be questions or one word or no chats for 20, 30, 50 minutes. Now individuals are chatting with passion. So whether you realize it or not, we are moving in such a great momentum. You know how sometimes when Mr. Rogers talks about the US 30, and he talks about how it's going to move with such movement, and with Mr. Devon, sometimes that's Dusty, begins to count down, and we get all excited on those early morning calls because we know that market is about to move, that pattern is about to move, it's about to take off. Well, you need to just pause for a second and recognize that is what you're doing. That is what we're doing as a group, and I'm just proud. I'm proud to be a part of this movement. I'm proud to be a part of this unit. So welcome to a talk with the finance doctor, your RX for Forex. And we named it that way for those of you that may be a little new, simply because we wanted to have a philosophy of healing, a philosophy of being able to put ourselves in a position where we can seamlessly, smoothly, and easily attain our goals. You all know as well as I do, there's an energy associated with money that sometimes gets really tight and makes our shoulders get tight. How many of us really enjoy doing our bills? And even if you do, the stigma that we carry as a society is that those individuals, I don't want to talk about it, that kind of energy that we put with money, but we're literally putting ourselves in a position where it becomes smooth and it becomes easy. And I really am enamored that we have a group of people who are committed to giving you the information you need so that we can get there. So a talk with the finance doctor is about us providing some healing to some of the situations we may have experienced with money. So that's the reason why we talk about the why, we talk about the mindset, we talk about some of the definitions, we talk about some of the scenarios, and we just go a little bit deeper, because the more comfortable we are with this, the better we are. So yes, in the last 2 weeks, there's been a huge momentum. But I also want to encourage everyone who can hear my voice right now that we recognize why we came together. We came together because we're business partners in IML. And IML is not a trading platform. IML is an educational platform. So I just want to remind everyone that it is so important that we recognize what we have to do first. One of the concepts I say to my kids all the time is dinner first. Get your dessert. I want you to get your sweet on, but you eat dinner first. So we need to remind ourselves that the IML Academy is the dinner. Anything that we do beyond that, any live trading calls, any training calls, any talks with the finance doctor, that's above and beyond. So just remember our core, remember the philosophy, remember the foundation and infrastructure of why we're here. And that is to learn these variables. So if you come to my house and you look at my computer, you would see that I keep all of my files in a folder called Dr. B. So that I can get to Dr. B easily, there's a shortcut on my hard drive. So all I have to do is take my mouse to that folder, click it, and I have access to all the files. But here's the thing I want you to think about. If I hover over that Dr. B and it shows the path, it shows the destination, it will show every single folder that you have to go through to get to Dr. B. So even though I have a shortcut to get me there quicker, I still have to go through the path. So what I'm saying to you, traders, business partners, momentum movers and shakers, is let's remember the path. The path is that we first need to dial into the IML Academy so we can educate ourselves, we can get comfortable, we can get our reps on. Then when we come to these calls, boom, it's just butter. Since you guys keep bringing up my daughters in basketball, my middle daughter is a 10th grader and she's right-handed. Well, her older daughter who just graduated is a left-hander. So one of the things I did early on in their basketball development was I made my left-hander learn how to do a right-hand layup, and I made my right-hander know how to do a left-hand layup. So at this moment, these young ladies can shoot with their offhand very well. How did they get to that point? They got to that point simply because they had rep after rep after rep after rep. And now they make a left-hand layup as well as they do a right. They make a right-hand layup as well as you do a left. So just understand, we'll get there. I've already complimented you on your momentum. I've already complimented you on how well you're doing, but let's just make sure that we do our reps first. Let's make sure that we get our reps in so that we're going to be the best foreign exchange and cryptocurrency players that we can possibly be. So there are a couple of things I'd like to say tonight, but let me very briefly greet our guests and let our guests know why Dr. Craig Bythewood, AKA Dr. B, AKA the finance doctor, is so excited about this opportunity. So I finished with my PhD from the University of Florida at age 26. And I wanted to invest in the foreign exchange market. But 10 years later, I was told that I had to have $1 million in my account, a minimum of $1 million in order to invest in foreign exchange. And now we're so blessed that we're in a situation where all we have to do is pay $325 and we can do the same thing I wanted to do years ago. So I just want to make sure that guests understand that you also should be thankful because someone loved you enough to tell you about this, to let you know what we're doing. Because we're on a mission. This Be Your Own Bank movement, it's about being our own bank. It's about controlling our economic infrastructure. It's about putting ourselves in a position where we can show our children something that we may not have been shown. But what it's really about is the fact that we're going to touch 1 million families. And we know that after we have touched 1 million families, we as a society, we as a community, we as a group, we from a wealth perspective, we will be different. We will be at a different paradigm. Remember when Mr. Joel was talking about the support becoming the resistance, going into a different phase, a different area? That's what we're about to do as a unit, as a group, as a society. So guests, please recognize how fortunate you are that you've been allowed the opportunity to be exposed to what we're doing here, to be exposed to a situation where in order to succeed, all you have to do is show up. How easy is that? All you have to do is show up. I remember how challenging my middle daughter thought a left-hand layup was. And now it's easy. All she had to do was keep showing up. And that's all you have to do. Keep showing up, do your reps, enroll in the IML Academy, keep doing what you're doing, and we will have success. So last week, a question was asked about a pending order. And the individual stated that they wanted to understand the pending orders better. Let me say two things before I break down pending orders for you. First of all, let's pause and be excited about something. In exactly 10 to 12 minutes from now, every rectangle on this Zoom call will understand pending orders backwards and forwards. It will be yours. One of the things that we do a lot in our human brain is we memorize. But I believe we should logicize. When it's yours, when you get it, when you can internalize it, it's yours for life. When you memorize it, it may stay there, you may forget. But when you internalize it, it's yours. So 10 to 12 minutes from now, you will understand pending orders very well. Second thing is, for the benefit of the guests, let me share with you my second favorite Bythewoodism, which is, if you know what you're doing, you will always have a job. If you know why you're doing it, you will always be the boss. So let's really think about why we may not know pending orders. The reason why we may not know pending orders right now is because we are under the direction of a young lady who is so brilliant, who is such a master trader, who is such a master teacher, that she has enabled us. She has spoiled us the same way my mom spoiled me. Miss Dyer, with the Be Your Own Bank strategy, has made it so easy and so simple for us that we don't have to deal with pending orders. Because the way in which she has created this strategy, once the three signals, once the three indicators line up, there's no need to pin because we know. 92% accuracy rate, 93% accuracy rate, and she'll tell you in a minute that 7% is human error. So that means that she has lined everything up for us so much, we don't have to do pending orders. But here's what I want you to do. Since you guys keep bringing up my children, let me do one more. So one of the things I did today when I trained them is I have been teaching them these 4 moves. And I've been saying that if you learn these 4 moves, because you're already fast, you can already shoot, you already know how to play basketball, but these 4 moves will take your offense to the next level. Oh, we have to do them again? Yes. Do these 4 moves, and it will now make you more versatile when it's time for you to offensively set yourself apart from these other players. So these 4 moves that I'm about to teach you, we don't even need them because the Be Your Own Bank strategy is that good. But it's good to have them. It's good to make them a part of our arsenal so that if we play something, that's what I told them. When you play somebody that's as good as you, now you've got 4 moves to go to. So now, as we begin to continue to expand our horizon and make our growth and awareness of this trading game stronger, we've got 4 moves we can go to. So here are the 4 moves. Buy stop, sell stop, buy limit, sell limit. Buy stop, sell stop, buy limit, sell limit. Don't worry about memorizing that. Because like I told you, 8 minutes from now, it'll be yours. You'll get it. It will be a part of you. You'll have it in your heart. You'll understand it. Now, the purpose of these 4 pending orders is to put us in a situation where if we don't have a situation where we can wait and let the BYOB strategy do what it does, or if we're in a situation where we want to put ourselves in a position of protection, we just, again, want to have 4 more moves we can go to. So let's start with the buy stop and the sell stop. Someone saying something? Let's start with the buy stop and the sell stop. Now, again, we do market execution. We see everything lining up. We say it's a go, and boom, we do market execution and we modify later. That's a great strategy. But if we're going to use pending orders, and if we're going to use a buy stop or a sell stop, here's how it works. You're in a situation with a buy stop where you decide that you want to take a buy position and you want to buy this particular currency pair at a price that's higher than the current price. Again, no need to memorize. We're just going to conceptualize and it'll be ours. So the market price is right here, but I want to buy right here. So I'm going to do a buy stop. The market price is right here, and I want to do a sell right here. So I'm going to do a sell stop. Now, I always believe in having a mnemonic device so that you can put it into your brain and log it there. Are you about to buy? Yes. Stop. Are you going to buy right now? No. I'm going to wait until it gets a little higher. I'm about to sell. Are you about to sell? Okay. Stop. Are you ready to sell right now? No. I don't want to sell right now. I want to wait until it's lower. Now, being consistent with the Bythewoodism, why would I want to do that? If the market price is here, why would I want to wait until here to buy? If the market price is here, why would I want to wait until here to sell? Because, one example, what if it's in a consolidation? Like Mr. Joel was talking about, if I've got a situation where the support is about to become resistance and it's about to break into a new pattern, how about I just wait? Are you going to buy? Stop. Let me wait until it gets to a higher point. So the buy stop means I expect the market to rise, and when it gets to this point, then my pending order will take effect. If it's a sell stop, then I'm going to wait for it to go down. It's going to break this consolidation. Then once it goes down, then I want to sell here. Because you know what our trade whisperer always says, I don't trade consolidation. So I could use a sell stop to wait until it goes down. Now let's take these concepts again, instead of memorizing it, and let's reinforce it with a real life example. Let's suppose that there's a male that's a football player. Well, I'm sorry. Let's suppose there's a male that wants to be a football player. And let's suppose he wants to ask this hot girl out. But he's heard through the grapevine that, do people still say grapevine? Okay, he's heard through social media that this young lady only dates football players. So he's only going to ask her out if he knows she'll say yes. So tryouts for football next week. So he knows that if he's right here in his social status, if he's right here in his ability to be a popular person, if he makes the football team, he's going to rise up. If he gets an opportunity to go out with this woman, he's going to rise up. But right now, he's not ready to make that move. So he's going to wait until he makes the football team. Now watch this. If he makes the football team, he'll ask her out. And now, boom, he's doing his thing. If he doesn't make the football team, he'll stay right where he is. And that's what happens with pending orders. If you're right and it goes up the way you want to go, boom, order executed. But if it stays right where it is and it continues to consolidate, boom, you haven't lost anything. You're in the same spot you were before. You make the football team, boom, get the hot girl. Stay right there, same dude you were before you came up with this plan. Now, let's use a similar analogy to break down sell stop. So now let's say this dude made the football team, now he's in college. He's playing football. He decides to walk on. And so he didn't know whether he was going to make the team or not. So he has 18 credit hours. So he's right here with 18 credit hours. So now, if he makes the football team, he's going to have to drop some of those credits. If he doesn't make the football team, he'll stay right where he is with the 18 hours. So it's a sell stop because right now he doesn't know what's going to happen. Tryouts on until next week. So he's going to wait right now. Stop. Don't sell yet. Wait until you find out he made the football team. He's going to drop those credits. So all I'm doing is giving you a way to internalize it so it makes better sense. Buy, stop. Stop. Wait till it gets higher, then you buy. Sell, stop. Stop. Wait until it gets lower, and then you sell. Buy, stop. Sell, stop. So now let's talk about a buy limit and a sell limit. And this example is so much easier now based on the information that Mr. Joel shared with us. Mr. Jolie shared with us, excuse me, Joel Jolie. So Mr. Joel Jolie told us about support lines. And he broke it down, gave us a pictorial representation. We get it. He broke down resistance, gave us a pictorial representation. We get it. Support and resistance. Support and resistance. Now we know that when you break out of a pattern, now the resistance becomes a support. We get it. We know that when it breaks out of a pattern this way, now the support becomes a resistance. We get that. Like Ms. Dyer said, we're going to be learning that over and over so that we can expand our repertoire. So here's how buy limits and sell limits work. Now, if you see a pattern up here, it would make logical sense that it's probably going to go down. So if it's up here, then it will go down, so I want to sell. So a sell limit occurs when I'm here, but I want to wait for it to go here. Because if it goes here, that's when I've got that room to get that nice downtrend and ride the wave. So a sell limit will occur when I hits a high, and I remember now with a pending order, I'm the one that says what that high is. I wait for it to hit this high, and like Mr. Jolie said with the basketball, it hits the ceiling, boop, bounces right back down. So a sell limit will occur when you set your sell limit right here, and you say to the order, to the market, when it gets right here, execute my sell order so I can ride the wave down. Sell limit, sell limit. Buy limit, bam. If your return pattern is down here, and you can go back and you can use your trading view and your web analyzer to see what the pattern has been, this is absolutely the support. So when it hits here, it always goes back up. So my buy limit, I want to wait for it to get right here. And then just like he said with the basketball, boop, it'll hit the floor and bounce back up. So if you think about it, you could look at them as being opposites because the buy stop is up here and the sell limit is up here. The sell stop is down here and the buy limit is down. You can look at it like that, or you can really internalize it and understand these are just 4 moves for 4 situations that I may have to do. So just like my girls who are expanding their offensive game with their 4 moves, you now have 4 moves that are going to help you to expand your game. So with that in mind, let me pause and ask if anybody has any questions, especially Ms. Edgecombe, about those 4 pending orders. Questions, comments, testimonies. Ms. Edgecombe, put it in the chat for me and let me know if you're good. Did that help you to understand pending orders a little bit better? Great. So, to me, it is so important that we recognize that the trading is what we're focusing on. But what we really need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, is that for us to continue to trade with the same type of intensity and success that we're doing, we must ensure that our mindset is in the right place. And I am very comfortable admitting to you that there were some times throughout these last 2 weeks when I got emotional, just watching the way everybody was rolling and the family atmosphere and the event in Jacksonville, and the way in which we are coming together and the way in which we are empowering individuals, it really made me feel good. And one of the things that I say consistently is that I love the fact that we're learning a skill that we can pass on to our children. And one of the reasons why I feel so strongly about that is because in my research,
you can see we're definitely going to be featuring Mr. Nez Vasquez.
So one of the reasons why I feel so strongly about what we're doing is because I know that each one of these rectangles represents a group of children that aren't here. Children who are going to see what we're doing and understand. Some of them are doing it already. And they're going to be in a position where they're going to learn a skill that we had to learn when we were adults. So I get very excited when I see children at our events. I get very excited when I hear children in the background. I get excited when I see children in the pictures, because we really have an opportunity to show something to the next generation. So let me very briefly share a story that some of you have heard and some of you haven't, that I think is very important as to why this is so big. You see, oftentimes, subconsciously, we hold the DNA of those before us. There are ancestors of us that have gone through some financial trials, and we still hold on to that and we don't realize it. You ever think about how there's some situations of self-sabotage as you go through, where every time you reach a certain point, something always happens? That's not by design. That is a normal way in which we go through our patterns, because literally we're holding on to things from our past. And let me prove it. There was a study done called the cherry blossom study. And what they did in the cherry blossom study was they took mice and they put mice and tied them up to an electronic stimulation machine, and they gave them cherry blossoms to eat. So the mice would eat the cherry blossoms, and every time they would eat a cherry blossom, they would shock them. Boop. So eventually, every time the mice would eat the cherry blossom, boop, they get shocked, and so they no longer wanted the cherry blossoms. So what they did was they took the children of those mice, and then they took the children of those children, yes, the grand mice, and they took those grand mice and exposed them, hear me, to the smell of cherry blossoms, the smell of cherry blossoms. And what would happen to those grand mice who never experienced the cherry blossoms, never experienced the electronic shock, their parents didn't even experience the electric shock, only the grandparents did. They would react with all of this negative response. So I hope you're hearing me. 2 generations later, the experience that those mice went through were still showing up in the grand mice. So what I'm saying is we have no idea what we have gone through in the past. But what we do know is that we're starting a new pattern right now. What we do know is that we're in a support right now, because we're all supporting each other and we're breaking out into a new pattern. We know that we're putting ourselves in a position where we can be better, we can do better, and we don't have to talk about it and figure out what happened to the grandkids. All we have to do is walk in the right energy, and we can experience the wealth and abundance that we deserve. You know, I can see my patio from where I'm sitting, and there are a lot of ants out there. What I've been doing over the past 6 months is I've been going out with a little ant killer, and I've been killing the ants. And what I do is I find the mound, and then I see all the activity on the mound, and I put the stuff on it, and then the mound is dead. But what I've noticed is that recently I go out there 3 days later, the mound is there again in a different spot. And I said, what's going on? So a couple of days ago, I got an idea. I took a small shovel and I started to dig. And I realized, oh, there were ants way below the surface. So this whole time, I thought I was killing the ants, but all I was doing was killing the surface. So oftentimes we think we know what's going on in our life. We think that we know what we're experiencing, but there's some stuff deep below the surface that may be addressing what's going on. At the same time, how many of us are looking at things in our life and thinking it's dead? But it's not, because there's life underneath that. Oh, this happened to me. Oh, that happened to me. Oh, I'm going through this situation. Yeah, but understand there's life underneath all that. You just have to keep digging until you get it. In that same backyard, there's a bird feeder. And the other day, I was watching a bird come and eat the bird feed and then go back and eat the bird feed and then go back and eat the bird feed. And I said to myself, as smart as that bird is going to get full. But there's so much bird seed in there. Then I glanced over to the left on top of my refrigerator and noticed I had 2 big bags of bird feed there. So I said to myself, does that bird realize that they're eating off of an unlimited supply? I can go to Walmart and get that big bag for $7.99. So no matter how many times you go eat, bird, I will constantly replenish. I wonder if we recognize the analogy there. Because we gather on these calls so we can eat. But sometimes we wonder, well, where's the next meal coming from? What about the next trade? There is the same situation. There's an unlimited supply for us. All we have to do is eat. How many times does Mr. Rogers come in and say, we're going to eat? We ate this morning. So what if there's somebody who's watching us at our abundance bird feeder and is just continuing to just supply it and supply it and supply it? And you know what? In order for that bird to feed, guess what it has to do? It has to fly to the bird feeder. So where are the bird feeders in our life right now? Is it IML? Is it the Be Your Own Bank movement? Is it us continuing to dive into the IML Academy? Let's just keep eating. Let's keep eating and know that we live in an abundant universe and we will continue to have all the opportunities we need to eat. We just have to keep flying. We just have to keep showing up. We just have to keep feeding. Let me say one more thing. I've had some conversations with some people over the past 2 weeks in which I recognize that as good as we are doing as a group, as a unit, as a company, as business partners, as the Be Your Own Bank movement, there are some life challenges that you and I are going through. And I just want to remind you that the best way for us to go through these challenges and to do it in a way that gets us there quicker is to have the right attitude and have the right energy. If you were watching a television show and you didn't like the show, would you keep watching it? Of course not. You just change the channel. There are too many times in our life, rectangles, where some things are happening. They're real, they're serious, they impact us, but we keep it on the channel. We keep talking about it. We keep discussing it. We keep talking about what we haven't done. We keep talking about what we aren't doing. We keep talking about what's happening. And it continues to happen when all we have to do is change the channel. So what I'd like to leave you with is this. There's a very simple way for us to make sure that we're always in the right emotional state to continue to just fly to our bird feeder and feed. So I want to share with you a story about a couple who was in Phoenix, Arizona. The couple was in Phoenix, Arizona, and they wanted to go to San Diego, California. Why do I use these two places? Because geographically, it's a straight line. Phoenix, Arizona, San Diego, California. They were in Phoenix, Arizona, and they wanted to go to San Diego, California, straight line. Now, although geographically it's pretty easy to get from Phoenix, Arizona to San Diego, California, there's a lot of desert in between. So some places where there's desert, there are no cell phone towers, so sometimes reception is an issue. So the couple got in their RV, their recreational vehicle, and they left from Phoenix, Arizona to San Diego, California. They put on their navigation and they began to follow the navigation. As they were following the navigation, a very interesting thing happened. When the navigation began to malfunction, they found themselves turning back around and going back to Phoenix. When the navigation was working, they were going the right way and they were going back to San Diego. Phoenix, Arizona, navigation not working. San Diego, California, navigation working. Phoenix, Arizona, navigation malfunctioning. San Diego, California, navigation working. Here's my point. Phoenix, Arizona is where you are in every part of your life right now. San Diego, California is where you're going. It's your desires, your goals, your objectives, the places you know you belong. Phoenix, Arizona, where you are right now. San Diego, California, where you're going. Your navigation system, your emotions, how you feel. When you feel good, happiness, joy, peace, positivity, I will. Yes, energy. When you feel good, guess what? You are going toward your goals. You are going to San Diego, California. But when you feel bad, you're going back to where you came from. You're going back to Phoenix. Guilt, upset, anger, defensiveness, issues, problems, keeping it on the channel of things we don't like, continuing to watch things that we don't like. It's that simple. You feel good, you're going toward your goals. You feel bad, you're going back to where you came from. So all we have to do right now is recognize that we're here. All we have to do is fly to the bird feeder. And we do that with the right attitude and the right energy, and make sure that we're taking steps and looking at things and having an awareness where we feel good. Thank you so much. And I'll now pass this call back over to our host or hostess.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Bythewood. Oh, Mr. Rogers?
Yeah, sorry about that. Hey, thank you so much, Dr. Bythewood. And folks, I am so excited to have you with us this evening. And if you've gotten any benefit from this tour list this evening, please show me some love and put a 555 in the chat. If this call has been impactful for you this evening, all the expertise, yes, give me a 555 in the chat. Folks, we're absolutely excited for those of you who are with us, for those of you first time experiencing the litany of all the information that was shared. And if you could, I want to definitely salute our colleagues and our business partners, our instructors for this evening. Did an amazing job, but the information that we must also execute this information. And secondly, we want to be so free and liberal about giving it away. We want to make sure we share with the people that's in our sphere of influence. And if any of this information has been beneficial to you this evening, the BYOB Cash Out strategy, please make sure you do us the favor. Go into the IML Webliners Facebook group and hashtag BYOB Cash Out. Folks need to hear about this information, the simplicity of it, and now they can begin to execute and be their own bank. And folks, once again, we go live in the market at 5 a.m. Eastern. Once again, that's live in the market at 5 a.m. Eastern. So come with us, join with us. Let us eat together. Let us cash out 5 a.m. Eastern. So if you know this information has been beneficial to you, once again, please make sure that you drop us the Trade Whisperer, Ms. Tasha M. Dyer, give us some love. People need to hear about what she's doing, create that energy and necessary. But most importantly, we're excited to have you as our guests, our business partners, our family. So with that being said, folks, join us once again at 5 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning. On that note, have a peaceful evening, rest well, and we will see you at 5 a.m. God bless and have a wonderful evening. This will officially conclude this call.